Friday night fights in the final week of Season 3 here in Chara League. My name is Terraspaz, and I'm here to bring you a contest between Flex Luthor on the blue team and probably the longest name I've ever seen for a Chara League team, so thanks in advance for that, Bad Rats World Championship Finals, or BWCFS for short. Both teams looking to close out the season with a win here and looking to ready up here on Sky Temple. It's nice to see Sky Temple with the recent Machines of War patch. I can't remember if Sky Temple was one of the ones that was in or out, but I think it was out of rotation for a while, so you tended to not see it very often. But Zagara is going to be the ban out of the gates for Flex Luthor, which means that Bad Rats really only have one option, and they've elected to ban Samuro, who isn't quite as strong as he was just a bit ago, but he's certainly quite powerful now. Maybe get something a little more appropriate here. So now the draft can begin proper. For Sky Temple, mobility is definitely a priority as well as staying power, so you can expect to see heroes such as Brightwing, Falstad, Dahaka might even make a return, as well as some staying power. You might see an Artanis here at the end. Thrall and Li Ming are certainly strong candidates as well, but Malfurion, hard to argue with him. If you know your enemy is going to be in a particular place, then you can keep them there and really start laying down the hurt. First pick Rexar on Bad Rats World Championship, and that's a powerful pick here on Sky Temple. Essentially getting a free hero who's constantly getting heals from Rexar and is very difficult to deal with, because if you're Flex Luthor, you don't really want to unload a ton of abilities on a quarter of a kill that's going to respawn on the battlefield in 15 or so seconds. So it's certainly an annoyance to Flex Luthor, and they're going to be struggling with that decision all game long. Tychus is going to be a good pickup to help mow down the ETC that Flex Luthor has selected. So definitely, if you expect your opponent to pick a lot of strong, tough, high health pool heroes, then just snapping up a Tychus might be in your best interests. And having picked Rexar, they took away one of those lower health options that might not make Tychus as good. So ETC and Vala are going to be the picks for Flex Luthor, and they're clearly going for Operation Glue someone to the board and then detonate them, which could work out fairly well for them. At the moment, don't have a great many ways to deal with the stun. Rexar can't really get in there because I don't think Misha becomes unstoppable during her stun, which is, I believe, the only one available to Rexar. Kerrigan going to be the second ban for Bad Rats. If Flex Luthor is really going in on this glue someone to the board and never let them stop dying, Kerrigan would have been a great pickup for them. So a wise ban from Bad Rats. And Flex Luthor, recognizing that healing is going to come at a premium now, take away Ariel. They know Bad Rats still need one. So with Ariel and Malfurion off the board, I'd really expect them to pick up a Brightwing here. I guess there could be another option in the form of Lili if you're really worried about the damage from Vala, but certainly something that if they're trying to conceal a pick, then I would expect them to scoop that up here. Bad Rats on the clock, trying to figure out how they want to go. Let me make sure my microphone is on, and it is, because I've been doing a terrible job casting tonight. I had this nice preview screen up, and it was on just preview mode, so that only I could see it. You, the viewers, couldn't. So that was foolish on my part, and I will do better. Johanna going to be the pick. Good way to answer Vala, to put some of those blinds out there and just to have a strong, beefy body out there to soak up some of the damage and walk out of all the various crowd control options that Flex Luthor is putting down on the board. She can have a nice little stroll in the garden as can just walk right over Malfurion's roots. But they still need a fair bit more damage, and they still need that support pick, so they're not looking to go ham and jump in on a target, so they're essentially building the opposite team here from Flex Luthor. They're not looking to go all out on one person and surround and murder them. They're looking to plant their flag and say we're comfortable with you coming to challenge us. We are the Shield. Break upon us. But Bad Rat's spending a fair bit of time here on their pick. I don't see their clocks. It's been a bit weird when I've been using this interface. Don't always get an accurate picture of how much time I got left. So, piece of advice: if you're drafting, don't dawdle, because you may have less time than you think. Li Ming's going to be the pickup for Bad Rats. So there's that big explosive damage that they were sorely lacking. And so they'll be able to dish out a bunch of damage as they slowly back away from Flex Luthor's advance. And as long as they can avoid getting caught out, I think Bad Rats is going to be fairly successful with what they're trying to accomplish. Excuse me. Flex Luthor on the button for their final picks. They could really go a lot of directions here if they're really going on the all-out murder bomb here. Then I wonder if this is the case where you bust out Vikings. It's always been a great plan a favorite plan of mine to do on this map, because the lanes are fairly spread out. It's very predictable where the other team's going to be, and if you can just ratchet up the experience counter, it can really pay off dividends. But Jaina's going to be the pickup, so doubling down on this blow up one spot of land plan, and there's very few people that do that better than Mrs. Proudmore herself. So strong pickup for Flex Luthor, and you can see the sort of decisions that early picks lead into your team. You know what your first couple picks are good at. That kind of drives the rest of your selection. And no, it's going to be Leoric, which is a little odd. I guess they wanted the Entomb here to continue isolation, but I don't know if another giant health pool hero in the face of Tychus is really gonna pay off, unless they're trying to capitalize on Leoric's life drain ability against Johanna. Which could be. That's a fair point, and it just adds another layer of defense in front of Vala and Jaina, so it could work out for him. It's nice to have some variety. It's nice to have a plan B. And I think that's what the Leoric pick here is. And there's the Brightwing for Bad Rat. So we should see a lot of rotations from everyone minus Leoric from Flex Luthor, and we should see Bad Rats just holding fast and looking to repel that offensive. So should be an exciting game coming up here. We'll get everything squared away, and we'll be with you in just a moment. Stay tuned. Don't go. And we are live, loaded into Sky Temple for some Friday night death-dealing chair league action here on Sky Temple, because it's worth repeating again. On the red team, representing the Bad Rats World Championship Finals, we've got Stealth on Johanna, Kira on Tychus, Rockaday on Li Ming, Logilica on Rexar, and Niam on Brightwing. And for the blue team, representing Flex Luthor, we have Otterbot on Jaina, Toza on Leoric, Lemmingway on Malfurion, Professor Billy Ray on Vala, and Nibble Rabbit on ETC. Gates are down, teams are rushing headlong into what is almost certain disaster for somebody, as Bad Rats decides to take the high road, go provisioned, and avoid the murder train of Flex Luthor, who's just barreling down in on them and taking a whole bunch of damage from a well-placed Li Ming shot. Their formation is scattered, and they're going to have to retreat in short order. So a little bit of a sparring there around Vision. Flex Luthor looking to get some sort of quick engagement, but wasn't in the cards. They'll have to retreat. Rexar having a grand old time up in top lane. We're going to see the main contention here in mid. Leoric and Li Ming doing their dance in the bottom lane. One that should go fairly even here for a while, depending on how well Leoric can get those life drains on. But Bad Rats is going to have the rotation between mid and bottom, but Flex Luthor has the rotation between mid and top and barrels in on Rexar, ending him in short order. And so that's likely going to be the tone for the map. If Flex Luthor can continue to do that and get those quick picks, then they will be in good shape as the match goes on. Shrines are active, no one staying in bottom lane, both teams fully committed to this fight, and it looks like the main action's going to be here in mid. Flex Luthor in control of the shrine just for a moment, not enough to get a shot off, but looking to just get some position in. ETC looking to isolate Tychus, the damage comes in, everyone managed to escape the blizzard, and Tychus turns around and starts murdering ETC. And the engagement doesn't quite favor Flex Luthor. I'd expect they'd have to retreat fairly soon. As Johanna comes in, ETC's health continues to fall. The Polymorph comes down, but they may be trading for Tychus here as he goes down. So far a 1-for-0 in favor of Flex Luthor. Johanna doing her best to try to keep everybody standing, but Bad Rats is going to have to be in full retreat, and it's going to cost them a Brightwing as well. So a 2-for-0 in favor of Flex Luthor. And all the while, the contest for top still goes between Rexar and Vala. Misha doing a nice job commanding this on her own, but Flex Luthor, knowing that mid is lost, decide to try to apply some pressure here, and they will scoop up some of these shots as well. So a strong early advantage for Flex Luthor as we end the first Shrine round of the game. But Bad Rats aren't done yet. They send everybody up top trying to get a pick, to get something back in the game, because if they can't get something decisive here, they're going to have to play defensive for quite a while as they're down about a level and a half. We'll see if they manage to come back from that. Meanwhile, Malfurion and Jaina pushing hard in the mid lane. Li Ming doing a good job trying to defend this, trying to minimize the damage to the fort, and she holds them off long enough for reinforcements to come. And this is a tricky rotation plan from Bad Rats. If they can scoop out a couple heroes out of position, it can pay off well for them. But it's kind of a gamble as they did miss a few waves during that. So we'll see if things kind of settle down, get back to a nice, calm, peaceful game of heroes right before another riveting round of action. Vala and Li Ming duking it out in the top lane. Both should be able to dance around each other fairly well to avoid an instant pick-off. Mercenary camp in the bottom goes to Flex Luthor, and that's fairly good timing on their part. Good rule of thumb for this map is a couple waves after the shrines end on first. If you go take your siege camp and then take your bruiser camp, it should be pushing top right around the time that bottom lane or that bottom shrine begins to fire, and you can really capitalize on its damage. And both teams seem aware of this as Bad Rats begin their bruiser camp, and Flex Luthor captures all kills all the mercenaries, but doesn't capture the shrine yet. They want to make sure they can waste as little time as possible, not knowing exactly when that shrine's coming up, because it does depend on how quickly you completed the last, on what time the last shot went. Li Ming here taking a lot of damage. Jaina and ETC looking to doom her, and she takes a bunch of damage and will not be available for this fight here in the bottom lane. Bad Rats should have initiative on it. They should be able to get their forces in position more quickly, but Flex Luthor is going to bring more to the table as Li Ming's still waiting to spawn. So we'll see how that plays out. Flex Luthor plants their flag first. Leoric trying to discourage Johanna from any further incursions into their line, and does a fairly good job of that. Misha now in command. Very briefly as Flex Luthor surrounds Johanna and tries to dump out the damage onto Brightwing and Rexar, and it looks like they're succeeding as Brightwing falls to about half health with very little damage on the side of Flex Luthor. That is going to be the end of Rexar, so a 1-for-0 in favor of Flex Luthor. They should totally command this shrine for the entirety of its shot. So we'll see if Bad Rats can pull something off. But a man down and 2 levels out, I think they might just be better suited to lick their wounds, admit defeat for this engagement, because the war is still to go. If they're caught on the back foot when level 10's achieved for Flex Luthor, things could turn around very poorly for them. So they're gonna need to come up with a strategy to get back in on that front. So far, all structures still remaining for both teams. There's considerable damage on several of Bad Rat's forts, but nothing that can't be recovered. But they are gonna have to play safe and smart and just get to level 10. Rexar, seeing the incoming damage bomb of Professor Billy Ray, decides he doesn't want to get taken out today and retreats. And that just seems to be the order of the day. Level 10's available for Flex Luthor, and we see Bad Rats just playing fairly close to the chest, trying to avoid losing another hero. And unfortunately, that could be Rexar here, as we see the big rotation from Flex Luthor. He does make it back to his wall, so he will live to see another day. And the rotation switches down to the mid lane, where we've got 2 members of Bad Rats. Li Ming might escape here, but no, ETC slides in there, the Entomb comes down, and Flex Luthor just blows her up immediately. And it's going to be a 1-for-0 stage dive selected for ETC, and this is, I guess with all the stuns available for Bad Rats, that's probably the correct ultimate here. If you know you're never going to get value out of Mosh Pit, just don't take it. Say, I'm just going to be on the map somewhere, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. So a good steal from Flex Luthor. They do, with the man advantage and the heroic advantage, press the advantage. Get this siege camp, and we'll just drill through this bottom fort. Possibly put some pressure on the keep as well. But Bad Rats say, you know what, the fastest way we're going to get experience is to do some structural damage. And they almost managed to get a tower, but just a sliver of health left. It's going to keep level 10 at bay for just that little bit longer. Shrine's going to be active in mid and bottom. Flex Luthor on the warpath, trying to catch someone else out of position, and it's going to be Brightwing who's caught by the Entomb. The damage erupts down, and that's another 1-for-0 in favor of Flex Luthor. And they are in full command of this game, just having a grand old time as the party marches on. Heroics now available for Bad Rats. I'll use the Dragon Laser, but still most ultimates available for really everybody except Leoric and Tychus, so still plenty of opportunity for a big engagement here. Flex Luthor should be able to scoop up, maybe not the entirety of that top fort, but certainly enough to put it on death's door. Meanwhile, Bad Rat sticking together as everybody but Brightwing tries to scoop as many shots as they can out of this bottom. Knowing that Flex Luthor is on the way. I don't know if they have vision of them yet, but surely they sense them coming. And Flex Luthor crashes in through the bush onto the point, but nobody but a bear there to greet them. So wise positioning from Bad Rats, making sure they don't suffer a takedown. A great disengage from Brightwing, but the Ring of Frost just not enough to keep them out, and another Entomb's going to put Brightwing and Li Ming in harm's way, but they do manage to dodge the blizzard. And so far, no takedowns just yet, and this might be the opportunity for Bad Rats to rally if they can get a pick or just a strong escape here. But those slows are making it so hard for them to get away. You see Johanna falling farther and farther back. Trait's on cooldown, so she is going to fall. 1-for-0 in favor of Flex Luthor as they continue to roll. Note that the bottom shrine is still available for about a third of its shots. It's not worth sending the whole team there. And Flex Luthor says, you know what? We've been doing so well. We haven't suffered a takedown yet. Let's continue to push this. Let's go for boss. We've got a talent tier advantage, and Johanna's just recently spawned, so we know we're not going to have a full even fight here. And we've been doing fairly well. Let's roll the dice. Let's see if we can apply some pressure. So they will secure the boss. Shrine still active in the bottom. When with all of the first level structures down, this should go straight in for the bottom keep's defenses. And if Flex Luthor had the mana for it, they could continue to pressure this and maybe just secure a keep themselves. But through that boss fight, Jaina's mana was fairly low, and some other people were low as well, so it's hard to... Taking the boss was a good enough prize. You don't need to win the game right here. And so level 13 almost achieved for Bad Rats. This is going to be a great opportunity for them to try and really claw away back into this fight. But somewhere along the lines, Li Ming got taken out. Not sure if that was in top or mid lane, but that's going to be another about half a minute where they don't have a full team on the map. But they do manage to keep their keep. Li Ming should be available for the next shrine, but Bad Rats is quickly running out of options. They don't have they don't have a big safety net to allow for a split on lasers. They're gonna have to, unfortunately, the farther you fall behind in levels, the either the safer you have to play and gamble that your opponent's gonna take an unnecessary risk, or you're gonna have to make an unnecessary, or you're gonna have to make a strong risk just to catch them unawares. And so it's a rough position for Bad Rats, but we see them sticking together fairly well. Well, maybe not. Rexar and Brightwing still a bit removed from this. They are coming back into safety. Johanna trying to escape, but can't unstoppable out of the Entomb, but she will dodge the ring. She will dodge enough damage to escape. So I guess that's another justification for the Leoric pick. If the enemy team has a hero that can walk away from everything, put something in their way they can't walk away from. So good. We see the intent of the draft now, and it suddenly becomes clear. Like a sun ray parting through the clouds. Pressure coming in on the top lane from Flex Luthor. An active shrine is at their back, so they'll have an excellent retreat target. Misha falls, but so far no significant hero damage against Bad Rats. Flex Luthor looking for the engagement, haven't found what they wanted yet, so they're going to retreat and move the fight away from Bad Rat's defensive structures and to the top shrine. Level 16 talent advantage is active for Flex Luthor. There's enough structure health on these remaining buildings that this shrine alone may not be the end of the keep. So Bad Rat's looking to clamor up some experience somewhere else on the map. You see Brightwing by herself down in the bottom, able to warp into the fight whenever needed. So it's a very good plan from Bad Rats. It's step one of many things that need to happen for them to get back into the game. And step two is, if step one is get experience, step two is don't get taken out by Flex Luthor. And so they decided to push bottom, try and get a structure of their own, while presumably Flex Luthor is still occupying the top shrine.
My temple's
but Bad Rat's not quite able to close out the entire building. They take much of its health, but not enough to get the XP chunk. And they're going for it here on the siege camp. Flex Luthor has vision, and we see the fight coming in hard. Bad Rats is going to have to surrender it rather than suffer a takedown. So good awareness from Flex Luthor. Good guess on, well, if they're not here and we know where they were a second ago, where could they be now? So good map sense from them to deduce that. But ultimately, it's fairly inconsequential. It doesn't do any damage to the structures. Again, Flex Luthor not looking to take any unnecessary gambles here. They've got a large structure advantage and a level advantage, so there's at this moment it's their game to lose. One bad engagement could certainly turn the tide in favor of Bad Rats. Flex Luthor's looking very cautious not to surrender that. Entomb does go off, and Misha is looking to absorb a whole bunch of damage here. She will get taken out, but Again, should respawn in just a matter of about 10 seconds or so. So, all in all, a favorable trade for Bad Rats. They lose a bear for one of Flex Luthor's best initiating tools. So this may be the opportunity they want to force an engagement, but not quite, as Bad Rats look to clean up bottom. Oh no, Rexar a little bit out of position here. Feigning death isn't going to work forever as the damage explosion comes hot and heavy, and Rexar will fall here, and a huge ice ring is going to glue everybody in Bad Rats in place, but they are going to be able to retreat to safety. A lot of damage going out on ETC here. A big orb is going to chunk out a ton of his health, but no such luck. That 2-level deficit is continuing to haunt Bad Rats, and what could have been a takedown on equal footing results in a grim retreat from Flex Luthor. So of the two structures, top is the one that Bad Rats really needs to save. Again, once a keep falls, it continues to offer your team an advantage in its claim. So they've got enough structure health in mid to afford that to Flex Luthor, but they really can't afford any more shots down in their top keep as it's on death's door. And so far, Bad Rats managing to hold on. There shouldn't be enough, well, I take that back. There should be enough structure damage coming out on mid to finish out that mid keep. And top keep as well, so in the end it was all for naught. Top and mid do wind up falling. Bottom being the only defensive structure left for Bad Rats, and things are beginning to look desperate as now a boss barrels down on Bad Rats, and Flex Luthor, without really anything else to do, might just decide that, well, it's been an excellent journey, but the journey is now concluded. Let's go escort this boss to victory. And we could be looking at the last team fight here. Misha blown up in seconds, so that essentially removes Rexar from the fight. All he's going to be able to do is throw a bird every now and then, and that's really not the value he's on the board for. Leoric coming down, looking to entomb someone. Nice dodge from Tychus to escape certain death. So that is step 3 here in avoiding a game loss. The ultimates do go down. We see a bunch of damage coming out from Vala. Not quite hitting what she wants on Bad Rats, but Johanna is going to fall. Huge damage coming out on Brightwing. She's going to fall as well. A 2-0 in favor of Flex Luthor. Tychus is certainly gone as well. And Rexar just taking a nap on the job, but ultimately he's going to fall as well. And that's going to be the game for Flex Luthor. And what a clinic in engagements. I mean, from start to finish, Flex Luthor had a plan on the team they wanted. They were able to decide how the engagements would start. I mean, you could see a very clear plan coming into, maybe not the draft, but coming out of after the draft, having that, pre-game meeting, figuring out, all right, here's the heroes we have. What do we want an engagement to look like? And if you're Flex Luthor, an engagement that starts with entombing somebody and then rooting them, all while a blizzard's coming down on them, and a ring of frost just to ensure that no one could possibly help them that wants to survive, is a great way to start fights. Is a great way to start fights in that end. That said, a good showing from Bad Rats. They caught a lot of tough breaks in team fights, but I feel like they made the right decisions when they were behind in order to at least try and stay in it and try and find a way to win. Again, it's hard when you're down and you know that the team's just going to keep ratcheting up an advantage. So towards the end especially, they did a good job assigning people to do what they needed to do, in terms of like Brightwing soaking bottom, and Johanna being able to absorb a whole bunch of damage up front, so that at least it didn't go on someone else. One of Johanna's premier abilities is avoiding being rooted and glued in place and slowed. And even though she can't walk through an entomb, it's still the best option they have for escape, other than, I guess, maybe Misha, who is essentially a free hero. But Flex Luthor just pressed the advantage so hard, even when killing Misha, that it essentially took Rexar out of the fight, because all he could do is chunk an axe and toss a parrot, and that's usually the fight was over or decided, at least, before Misha was able to respawn. So very aggressive engagements from Flex Luthor, and it paid off for him in the end. All in all, a great match, but unfortunately there is only one W, and today that W goes to Flex Luthor. So congratulations. My name's been Terrace Baz, and I'll see y'all in the Nexus. Don't forget to tune in over the next few weeks for our playoffs across all the divisions. So if you saw somebody you like, if you saw somebody in a previous game and they seem to have a lot of success, well, you might see them again. And feel free to cheer them on as we close out Season 3. Take care.